Have you ever paused beside a flower border and wondered why one plant is absolutely buzzing with bees, while another, growing only a few feet away, receives hardly any visitors at all? To us it might seem random, but thousands of years people believed there was something more mysterious taking place. Long before scientists understood nectar, pollen, ultraviolet patterns or evolution, people watched bees and butterflies moving from flower to flower and imagined there must be an invisible conversation taking place. They believed flowers called to the insects in ways humans couldn't hear. Some thought the blossoms released magical invitations carried on the wind. Others believed bees were guided by the sun itself, by woodland spirits, or even by the blessings of gods. Today, we know there is a fascinating science behind these remarkable relationships, but perhaps even more remarkable is just how close many of those ancient observations came to the truth. Join me as we explore the beautiful meeting between folklore, mythology and modern gardening, discovering why pollinators chose certain flowers and why these timeless stories continue to enchant us today. To our ancestors, a thriving garden simply wasn't a place to grow vegetables or admire colourful flowers. It was a sign that life itself was flourishing. A garden alive with bees was considered healthy, prosperous and blessed. Many country folk believed bees would only stay where there was kindness, peace and good fortune. In many parts of Britain, if bees abandoned their hive unexpectedly, it was often taken as an omen that something important was about to happen. Some families even believed they should speak to their bees after a wedding, a birth or a death, gently telling them the family news so the colony would remain content. This tradition became known as telling the bees. Whether or not anyone truly believed bees understood the words, the custom reflected something rather touching. People recognised that bees were valued members of the household rather than simple insects. Looking back today, it's quite easy to smile at these traditions, yet they reveal just how closely people observed nature. They noticed that healthy flowers attracted bees, and healthy bees helped produce fruits, seeds and abundant harvests. Without knowing the science of pollination, they already understood that flowers and pollinators depended upon one another. The importance of bees stretches back thousands of years. Ancient Egyptians believed bees were born from the tears of the sun god Ra. As his tears fell to earth, they transformed into bees that flew amongst flowers producing honey. To the Egyptians, honey represented purity, healing and eternal life. Across the Mediterranean, ancient Greek mythology also held bees in great respect. Priestesses serving certain temples were known as Melissae, meaning the bees. These women were seen as wise guardians who connected people with the divine. Honey itself was considered a sacred food, offered to the gods and honoured guests. Even today we speak of someone being as busy as a bee, a saying that reflects centuries of admiration for these remarkable insects. Modern science reveals something equally extraordinary. Many flowers display ultraviolet markings that are completely invisible to us. To a bee, however, these markings shine brightly, acting almost like illuminated runways, leading directly to the nectar hidden inside the flowers. It is one of nature's most beautiful examples of cooperation. Flowers have evolved to advertise their rewards, while bees have evolved to recognise those signals with astonishing accuracy. Few flowers demonstrate this relationship better than lavender. Stand beside a flowering lavender hedge on a warm summer's afternoon and you'll hear the gentle hum long before you notice the individual bees. For centuries, lavender symbolised calmness, healing and protection. Bundles were placed above doors to welcome good fortune and discourage evil spirits. Some even believed bees preferred gardens where lavender grew because flowers had been blessed by the sun. Although folklore gives us magical explanations, modern gardening tells a wonderful practical story. Lavender produces nectar over a long flowering season. Its tiny tubular flowers are perfectly suited to bees and other beneficial insects. Even better, hundreds of individual flowers bloom together, allowing pollinators to collect food efficiently without flying far. It's no wonder lavender remains one of the finest plants for supporting wildlife gardens today. Towering foxgloves have inspired stories for hundreds of years. Their tall stems covered in elegant bell-shaped flowers seem almost too perfect to belong entirely to the human world. Across Britain they were known as fairy gloves. Some believe fairies wore them as tiny hats. Others imagined woodland spirits rang the flowers like bells to warn each other whenever people approached. There were even stories suggesting foxgloves marked secret fairy pathways through ancient woods. Gardeners sometimes hesitated from picking them, worried they might offend unseen visitors. Meanwhile, bumblebees happily ignore these legends. Watch one closely and you'll see it disappear completely inside the flower, before reversing back out covered in pollen. Each blossom forms a perfectly shaped tunnel that guides the bee towards its reward, while dusting it with the pollen ready for the next flower. It's an elegant partnership created over countless generations. Butterflies have long been symbols of transformation, hope and renewal. Across Europe, people believed butterflies carried wishes, dreams or even the souls of loved ones. In Ireland, harming a white butterfly was once considered deeply unlucky because it might contain the spirit of a child. In Japan, butterflies represented happiness and enduring love. The gardeners simply noticed that where flowers bloomed in abundance, butterflies followed. Species such as Buddleia, Verbena, Scabiosa and Ericanea produce rich nectar that fuels these graceful insects during their remarkable, demanding lives. While bees mainly collect pollen to feed their young, butterflies usually seek nectar as an energy source. The different needs of these different pollinators explains why diverse gardens support far more greater wildlife than gardens filled just with one or two flower varieties. And scientists continue discovering astonishing ways flowers communicate with pollinators. Some flowers change colour after being pollinated while quietly signalling to insects their nectar has already been collected. Others release stronger scents during the exact hours when their favourite pollinators are most active. Night flowering plants often produce pale blooms and sweet fragrances that attract moths under the cover of darkness. Bright yellow and blue flowers tend to attract bees. Orange and red flowers often attract butterflies. And long tubular flowers favour insects or birds with long feeding structures. Every flower tells a slightly different story. Rather than competing, nature creates thousands of unique partnerships. It is one of the reasons why a natural meadow appears so wonderfully busy. Every species has found its own place. So perhaps the greatest lesson both folklore and science teach us is surprisingly simple. Diversity creates abundance. If you'd like more bees, butterflies, hoverflies in your garden, plant a wide variety of flowers that bloom from early spring to late summer. Allow a few wild corners to flourish. Avoid unnecessary pesticides wherever possible. Leave seed heads standing through the winter. Provide shallow water for thirsty insects during warm weather. More importantly, remember every flower matters. Even a single pot of lavender outside a front door can become a valuable stopping point for a hungry bee. Every blossom forms part of a much larger network of connecting plants, insects, birds and ultimately ourselves. Perhaps that's why these old stories continue to resonate today. Our ancestors may not have understood genetics, ecology or ultraviolet light, but they recognised something equally important. They understood that gardens were living communities where every creature has a role. The myths gave people a way to celebrate those relationships long before science could explain them. Today we have the privilege of enjoying both. We can appreciate the remarkable biology that allows flowers and pollinators to work together, while still delighting in the magical tales that make our gardens feel full of wonder. So next time you see a bee disappear into a foxglove, hear the gentle hum around a lavender hedge, or watch butterflies dancing amongst the summer flowers, remember you're witnessing one of nature's oldest partnerships, one that has inspired myths, legends and gardeners for countless generations. Thank you so much for joining me here at the Bear in the Garden channel. If you enjoyed today's peaceful journey through folklore and nature, I'd love to know which flower in your garden attracts the most pollinators. Leave a comment below, and if you'd like to discover more stories hidden within the flowers of an English cottage garden, don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, happy gardening and thank you for watching.